Hello and welcome. I am Gauhar Raza and you are watching Eureka, a program that brings an outstanding scientist and introduces to the people of India. Generally, when you think of a mechanical engineer, you think of big machines, big gears, steam coming out of something, a lot of noise getting created. But here is a mechanical engineer who has been working in a lab for a long period of time. In less than 20 years, he gets 24 very prestigious awards. Welcome, Dr. Suman Chakraborty.
Thanks.
It's an honor to have you here.
It's my honor.
Because at such young age, your work has been recognized very, very widely. How did you achieve this?
It's difficult to say whether it has received that kind of recognition that, you have possibly over-glorified my work. But
no, you get Young Scientist Award in 2005, and then as you grow, you get the most prestigious award of India, which is Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award in 2013.
Well, I would say that it's a culmination of a contribution of many people. I do not take these as individual awards. Starting from my upbringing, that I am not from a very rich family. We are from a very middle class family.
From West Bengal, and your father was a teacher.
My father was a teacher in a college.
And you had a very small house to live in. And a big family to support.
My father was alone supporting a big family. And there was a stage when my uncle was also not employed. And but
those were hard times?
Those were not very hard times to me. The
because
reason
you were
those were hard times to my parents. My father and my mother tried all the best to shield me from those hardships.
But you come from a very, very learned family. Hardship apart. Those were the times probably when middle class of India was facing hardship across the board. But your father was physics
my father was
teacher,
a physics
and he was a first-rate teacher, and your mother also had done masters. So did this shape your life in during your childhood?
My father never preached anything to me. He never said that this is what you have to study, this is what you have to pay attention to. But from my childhood, I have seen that my father is busy with reading something.
All the time.
All the time, busy with writing something, busy in spending time in his own laboratory. Sometimes in my childhood, I visited my
Your father was your role model? Or your mother was your role model?
There are different aspects, if you think of the academics and outlook towards science and all this, definitely
you chose science because of your father.
I chose science because of my father.
And what were the aspects of that you took from mother?
I think to be honest in what you are doing, to be sincere, and trying your best to be a good human being and good to other people.
And who taught you that you should be doing something for India, for the country, for the poor people, to solve problems?
I don't remember anybody specifically telling this to me, but
generally the atmosphere.
Generally the atmosphere. I have evolved as a researcher. So when I started doing research, I got more interested in, say, publishing scientific papers of world-class standards.
Correct.
And still now that
some of the papers that you have published have been published in the best of the journals across the world.
Yeah.
In physics, journals, you publish your papers, being mechanical engineer, which is in itself a big recognition of your work.
I have always loved to do that. I mean, even now, if you tell me that what is the thing that gives you a lot of satisfaction in science, I would say publishing a high quality scientific paper. But that's one side of science. On another side, we see that we are from a country, I mean the country has, which is not rich. The country has spent a lot of money on us for our education and all this. I mean, frankly speaking,
it's not only the parents who teach you
it's,
or educate you, it is the nation which spends money on you.
Absolutely. I mean, think of the cost of studying engineering. I mean, if we had to pay the cost by ourselves, I mean, my father could not afford it. So it's because of the nation.
So was the case with my parents.
Yeah. So
I got education almost free.
Yeah.
And the best of the education in the world that you could think of.
Yeah. And
you were always given scholarships.
Yeah. You are always given scholarships, and these scholarships may not compete with the best of the standards in the world, but from the country's perspective, when there are so many people who are not able to get a square meal every
even
day.
Enter the schools.
Enter the schools. I mean, it's a very special privilege. So I thought that, I mean, in addition to doing research towards publishing good scientific papers, there is also a responsibility to give back something to the society. And there is nothing better if these two are married together. That is, you discover something fundamental in science and then try to translate that into a device that is useful for common people. And that has
solve the problem which is specific to the country.
Which is specific to the country. Specific to the country. I think that has motivated me towards the research that I have been doing over the last 5.
We'll come to fluid mechanics part of
Yeah.
I have to take a break at the moment. We'll come back soon. The discussion will continue. Welcome back to Eureka. We were discussing with Professor Suman fluid dynamics, which is very far off from anything that you do for the people.
Yeah.
Here you marry the two and start doing something which is not only related to cancer, which is high potential disease and high return disease also, very fashionable, but also work on malaria. How did you do that?
Again, I think I would discuss about evolution of me as a researcher. Some of my teachers who developed interest on fluid mechanics in me. And then I got a fabulous teacher like my friend, philosopher, guide, Professor Pradeep Datta from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So from Professor Datta, I learned many things, and I mean many arts of doing good research, and
also writing a paper.
Also writing a paper, yes.
A research paper.
Writing a research paper. I mean, prior to that, I mean my idea of a paper is like Times of India, Telegraph. That's like a paper. So more like that. So I learned from Professor Datta how to write papers and how to focus on scientific research, how to focus on fluid mechanics, heat transfer.
And the language of scientific paper is very, very different from an article that you write. A popular article.
Absolutely. I have tried to continue in the same fashion, but in parallel, I mean, maybe towards the later part of my research at IIT Kharagpur, maybe over the last 5 years or 6 years or so, I mean, the ideas that have been coming to my mind are as follows, that you do something or you try to find out or discover something which is very fundamental in fluid mechanics. I will give you one example. So let us say that we have a rough surface. Now when water is flowing over a rough surface, we
The normal equation and understanding has been that it will impede the flow.
it will impede the
The
flow
resistance is higher as the surface is rough.
as the surface.
nature of the surface counts a lot.
Yeah, but you know, in
And
micro
this is also
channels,
common observation.
it's
That
very
if
common.
the surface is rough, the fluid will not flow.
Fluid will not flow easily. Now, in micro channels and nano channels, I mean, which are like my areas of research
Right.
now, you will find that very interesting things can happen, and actually a rough surface can help fluid flow instead of
Fluid
resisting flow.
Right.
Now, we have understood the mechanism by which this can take place.
It's almost like saying that there can't be any water
Yeah.
on moon's surface. And then you come to an understanding, no, there can be water.
Yeah.
Without understanding deeper physics and deeper science and going to nano levels, you can't make those judgments.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
that is the hypothesis that you gave at that time, for which you got awards and proved it.
I mean, we actually identified the mechanism by which this is possible, that a very low density layer forms at the surface, and that low
What is the practical use of this?
Now you can make devices. I mean, see, rough devices are very common because roughness you cannot avoid.
Right.
I mean, the poorer your engineering technique to make a device, rougher it will be.
Correct.
So, but that poor technique can be used to a benefit. So you can now make devices which by virtue of the roughness can transmit the fluid faster. So if you are, for example, designing a medical diagnostic device through which blood is flowing.
Right.
Now if you can design a device based on this principle, then the blood will flow very fast and go to the reaction site.
Even
very
if the
fast.
surface is very, very
Even
rough.
if the surface is very, very rough. And that can give rise to a new paradigm of rapid medical diagnosis.
That is how you design your nano needles.
Those are,
which are
micro needles actually,
micro
not nano needles. I mean, this work we have done in collaboration with
But it's
Japanese.
fascinating that I read that you got the idea from a mosquito bite
Yes.
to design those micro needles.
Yeah, I mean, the micro needle work which we did jointly with a professor from the Tokai University of Japan, from Kanagawa basically.
Right.
So we were discussing about how this device can be made into practice, and one of the key issues that we were discussing is that it must be painless.
Okay.
You know, I mean, whenever we go
If you
for
make the painless needle, most children will not be scared of
yeah,
needles.
I mean, whenever we go for blood test or whatever, I mean, when we see that somebody is attacking us with a syringe, big syringe, we don't like it. I mean, we have to accept it at the end, but we don't
Even
like
the
it.
elder was
Even the elder ones, I mean,
scared.
not just the children. Everybody is scared. We accept it, but because there is no way. Now, what we thought is that the mosquito's blood sampling mechanism, it is based on suction pressure or negative pressure. So, if you can design a mechanism by which you can create a suction, then it will suck the blood from the human body, and the blood will go to the needle in a painless fashion. And then by surface tension force, which is the capillary force,
sucked in.
it will be sucked in, and the blood glucose level will be analyzed, and based on that there is a insulin delivery system that will deliver the correct amount of insulin that you need at that point of time. So that was designed mostly for diabetes management.
You can design maybe a wristwatch, which regularly tests your blood, which is painless, and also delivers the right amount of insulin in your body.
Absolutely.
That is just fascinating. I have to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back soon. Welcome back to Eureka. Dr. Suman Chakraborty. This is completely fascinating project that you have completed recently, for which you have been recognized also. Your team has been recognized. Has your family supported, and you work for almost 24 hours in your lab?
Yeah, I mean,
and what is their reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough on us as a family because, I mean, I have to spend a lot of time for doing research, and managing research in our lab, and it's a contribution of a team. Like, I mean, I can say that the research that we do, it's not my personal research. I have my collaborators. I want to mention the name of Professor Mark Madhu from the University of California at Irvine, right, who has helped us in understanding the technology.
You have your peers, you have your
I will,
juniors, and you have also students.
Yes, yes.
Who contribute.
And then my colleagues, my research collaborators from my own institute, like Professor S.K. Som from my department, then Professor Sunanda Dasgupta from the Chemical Engineering department, Professor T.K. Maiti from the Biotechnology department, and several other, Professor P.K. Das from our department.
But the major brunt has to be faced by the family.
Yes, that's where I am coming into. Now, before that, I mentioned my students. Now, usually, I mean, as researchers, we claim, or as professors, we claim that we have done this, we have done that. But you know, it's basically the hard work of the students that has gone in. And I have been very fortunate to get a whole bunch of very brilliant students. And I think it's the
young mind which
young mind
you,
that has
created
that keeps us on our toes and that keeps us going. Now, coming to the family side. Now, you have, I mean, because you are so deep into research and research activities and lot, I mean, you know, your wife, your children, they are on
support system.
Their support system is very essential. So, I mean, see the way in which my wife takes care of my son, my 3.5-year-old son. I mean, it's a tremendous sacrifice. It's a tremendous contribution. Right? Without that, it is impossible for me to.
It is because of the support system that you have in your from your family that you have been doing some of the most wonderful work. Could you explain something about the very cheap kits that you have developed for sampling?
I can show you one or two. So this is something which is called as lab on a CD. So the whole idea is that there are many small channels. You take one drop of blood. The paradigm is like this. Let us say there is a village and somebody is suffering from fever. I mean, it could be dengue fever, it could be malaria, it could be typhoid. I mean, nobody knows.
Yeah.
So you put a drop of blood on the CD and spin the disc, and on the CD there are channels on which different reactants are there, and each reactant will identify a particular disease in the blood, because in contact with the blood it can change color.
And you can have thousands of these small micro channels which you have studied.
Yes, yes. And then based
and the
on
flow of and the fluid dynamics of it.
This is where fluid dynamics interfaces with medical applications.
Right.
So now you can do it on site. You can go to the patient and use this portable disc and get the blood sample tested. And immediately, almost immediately the result comes out. You don't have to wait for a very long time, and the treatment may be administered almost immediately. So this is one device which is called as lab on a CD, and I can show you another device.
This is still expensive.
This is, it is.
Then you worked on reducing the cost of the similar device.
So this is a paper-based device. Again, the paper-based microfluidics is not our innovation. It has been innovated by Professor Whitesides from Harvard University.
Right.
What we have done is we have innovated a device called as paper and pencil device. So on the paper based device, what we do is we scratch with pencils, and the pencils act like electrodes. Now if you
print a channel.
You print a channel.
Print a channel through normal printer.
Through normal printer, yes. And the toners of the
just ingenious.
Yes, toners of the printer, they act like barriers, so water cannot cross those. So you have a natural microchannel through which water is flowing, and then you scratch that with pencil and make electrodes. So this is called as paper and pencil device, and you can make very rapid medical diagnostics using these devices. So I think that this kind of device
will cost a person about 3 rupees. 4 rupees.
I mean it could be, because most. In principle you can use any paper. You need not use a very high quality paper for this.
Any paper that
paper.
is available, it should have a channel.
You have to basically make a channel by
Which is not discontinuous.
Which is not discontinuous.
If there is a cut or something, then there will be a problem.
Yes.
So this have to be preserved before being used. It is just wonderful to know very high science, extremely difficult equations, which a normal person cannot probably understand, and come up with such a simple solution to a massive problem that a country like India is facing. Because it's very difficult to get yourself tested in a laboratory when you have malaria. And it takes hell of a lot of time to get the results.
And many times by the result comes the patient has died. So it's very unfortunate actually, and we are trying to address this. In fact, this is one of the mission areas of thrust areas of our institute, that is.
This is also a very good example when a scientist is called upon or is determined to solve such a problem. He can use very high level science to solve such a provide such simple solution to a complex problem.
And this is like the low cost medical diagnostics. This is one of the very thrust areas, and our director, Professor P.P. Chakraborty himself thinks that, and he's like encouraging our group all the time to come up with these kinds of solutions, which are perhaps going to revolutionize the way in which pathological diagnostics is done in India.
See, you have been innovating and your team has been innovating. What has been moment of Eureka in your life? Which one of your innovations you value the most?
Well, it's hard to answer because I
know it's a difficult question. That's why I am posing it.
It's a difficult question because from one side, if you say the fundamental side, I would say that the rough surface makes the flow smoother. That's the fundamental
completely counterintuitive.
Completely counterintuitive. As I tell to my students, as human beings, we are born with certain intuitions. Like if I put finger in fire, I know that it will burn. So I will not put it. It's my intuition. But many things that actually go against intuition, and that's what to me is learning science. So this is one such example. But having said that, of late I have been enjoying most in like trying to innovate these medical diagnostic devices for common masses. There is no more satisfaction than doing something which may help the common people.
Large number of people.
Very
large number of people. Would you like to give a message to the younger generation? One of our major concern has been that younger generation is drifting away from science in the country.
What I would say that not just science, but try to do something what you enjoy and do it with passion. Right? I came into science not because I wanted to make money out of science. But at the same time, these days you can make good money out of science. I am not saying that it is separated from science, but what I want to make is the message that I want to convey is that you do it out of passion, you do it out of interest, you do it out of love. And if you do it out of love or passion, then your work becomes your hobby. And that's where you may possibly excel. You look into the example of Sachin Tendulkar, who is one of my role models, that he has made cricket a profession, but I believe it's also his hobby.
Absolutely.
So I think that
Make science
has
your hobby, and unless you do this, you cannot do probably good science. Thank you for sparing time for Rajya Sabha channel.
Pleasure.
It was a pleasure to have you here. May I, on your behalf, promise our viewers that Professor Suman would be very happy to answer any of your queries. For queries, suggestion and feedback, write to us on eurekarstv@gmail.com. We'll keep coming every week with a new scientist who has excelled in his own area. Thank you for watching Eureka, and goodbye.